Bethany, what, if any, deal breakers or red flags exist, that would cause you to avoid one partner versus the other? And I guess I'm thinking here about, the final decision making of you've narrowed it down to maybe one or two or three potential partners. Are there any kind of right angle checks, that you would make before making that final determination?
Yeah, I guess the first thing I would say is I would hope there wouldn't be anything last minute that would come up, because again, I think for me the process starts, you cast a wider net, as or as wide as of a net that you can, and then you kind of go through a series of elimination, right? So again, what's the CDMO's capabilities? Do they have the right equipment, the right scales that you need? And but I would say if you were to point to again the deal breakers, it really does come down to a history of success. And again, I do think it comes down to quality compliance in a way. And I think about it even when we talked earlier about larger CMOs, right? You talk about the large global companies that have sites around the world, and not all those sites are the same, right? So some maybe have switched hands between several companies, right? Some of the larger sites and CMOs in Europe and in the US. And you could say, and again, not pointing to anyone, but Alonzo, Thermo Fisher, whatever, right? They could have a great site that has a history of compliance. The same people have worked there a long time. Whereas another site, again, that may have changed hands a few times, maybe that doesn't have such a great compliance history. So it is important to do the due diligence there, right? Look online and see what is the regulatory history of that site. And then the second piece is really, again, the transparency and how well that you feel like you can work with that group of people and that team. And that's through the management too, right? So is there a commitment to success for both, for them as a CMO and also for you as a company?
Excellent. Before we move to our next poll question, any other thoughts as far as deal breakers or red flags, things that jump out with you that tell you this is not, the partner that we want? Either Sesha or Conrad. If not, we'll move to the poll question.
Yeah, for me, compliance record and inability to overcome, key, FDA findings, inspection findings, or a clear red flag. And then sometimes you can see this very early on. Simple things like response time. If they don't respond to your questions soon enough, they don't just, that just gives you a lot of red flags as to how they will be as a partner. Right, that's a key measure we see. We look at a lot of these little things, but those are some of the watch outs.